Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. CNN's Jim Acosta has torched Fox News as a bull factory, and he's exposed Tucker Carlson as a race-baiting tyrant. In some incredible new comments from Jim Acosta, he basically says, look, I don't think we can avoid the conversation about what happened after the election. He talks about some insider information because he knows what's going on. Look, folks, we're hearing from Jim Acosta from CNN, and these guys, essentially, because they're in the business, they know what's going on. They know what's happening in other networks, because even though they are in competing networks, there's a kinship, there's a brotherhood, there's a sisterhood, if you will, amongst these news anchors, because they talk to each other, they text each other, they're in touch with each other. They are all in the same business. Jim Acosta says, look what happened after the election. Because someone at Fox News called the Arizona results early, and by the way, President Biden won Arizona, the Trump team went ballistic. They went ballistic, and they forced Fox News to make some adjustments, including firing a key person at Fox News. And what Jim Acosta is saying is that Fox steadily lost viewers to OAN and Newsmax and all those radical, ridiculous outlets. And he said Fox responded by becoming more radical and more Trumpian, in his exact words. In fact, he says this, and I quote, they doubled down on the bullshit factory. And he said what they try to do is they try to piss off viewers, including cockamamie, made up nonsense just to piss off viewers and gin up ratings. Folks, this is exactly what Republicans like Ted Cruz from Texas do. This is exactly what Republicans like Rand Paul from Kentucky do. What they do is they try and agitate people as much as they can, because that's good for business as far as these politicians are concerned. For politicians, it's all about money and fundraising. And for news networks like Fox News, it's all about advertising and getting as many viewers and getting as many eyeballs as possible. Folks, at the end of the day, no one wants to watch something boring. And therefore, when Fox News makes people agitated, they get more viewers, because that's how people continue watching outlets like Fox News. You've heard me say this before. Politics is about timing, opportunity. It's about tribalism and perception. Tribalism is about taking advantage of us against them. The Republicans and Fox News know that they are not going to go anywhere if they say, well, we agree with a lot of the things that Democrats are doing, but we disagree with these. Why don't we have a constructive dialogue? No. Instead, it's much easier to consistently talk about critical race theory, to consistently talk about problems at the border, to consistently talk about the election, to consistently talk about transgender athletes, just so that we can continue to agitate people. In other words, doubling down on nonsense. In fact, what Jim Acosta said is that if Trump and his lackeys spew nonsense on Fox, they are distributing propaganda. He's calling Fox News a propaganda network, and he said they're doing a bad thing for this country. He also said, in defense of Fox News, there are folks there who want to do the right thing. But he said that Fox has become like the tobacco industry. He said they know that they make a product that harms people, but they'll continue to do it because, in his words, we are making a ton of money. In other words, he's saying that Fox doesn't care that they are distributing wrong information, distributing propaganda, agitating people, but because they make so much money, they're going to continue to do it. And as far as Tucker Carlson's concerned, boy, oh boy, Jim Acosta has some choice words for Carlson. He said Tucker Carlson is a race-baiting tyrant. He said he can't even figure out what Tucker Carlson's up to. He's basically trying to gin up as much anger and rage and frustration as he can, and this harms the country. Tucker Carlson, folks, I have to tell you, is an incredibly intelligent, incredibly smart character, but he's definitely someone who tries to create as much agitation as possible in order to be able to get his point across. I guess that's just the way he rolls. That's his style. But let me know in the comment section below whether you agree or disagree with these comments from Jim Acosta. In fact, let's hear directly comments from Jim Acosta, and you have to hear this to believe it. I encourage you to watch this video all the way through to the end and then let me know what you think. Let's watch and listen to what Jim Acosta had to say about Fox News essentially being a bull factory and calling Tucker Carlson a race-baiting tyrant. Let's watch.
Don't think we can avoid the conversation. As much as it pains me to say that, I wish we didn't have to cover that. But look what happened after the election. There were people there at Fox who were trying to tell the truth about what happened in the November election. People like Chris Steyerwalt about what happened in Arizona and so on. Maybe they called Arizona too early. That's not my area of expertise, calling elections and so on. But they did get the result correct. Trump lost Arizona. I know for a fact that, because I talked to the Trump people, he and their people went ballistic when Fox did that. What did Fox do? They got rid of Steyerwalt, and they saw their viewers hemorrhage over to Newsmax and OAN. Well, how did Fox respond to that? Fox responded by becoming more Fox, more Fox-like, and more Trumpian. And there was, I think, a moment of opportunity there for Fox News to come back to the real world. And what they've decided to do since then is double down on being what I call the bullshit factory. They churn out segments that gin up outrage, that they know is going to piss off their viewers and so on, even if it's cockamamie, made-up nonsense. And they do it for the simple reason of attracting viewers and ginning up the ratings. And I've thought long and hard about this, and my attitude is that we have to talk about it. We have to cover it. Do we need to do it every hour of every day? No, we don't. But, if Trump or his lackeys go on Fox and they spew this nonsense about the election and they're not fact-checked in real time, then they're operating as propagandists and they're doing a bad thing for this country. And it pains me to say that, because I've known some people that have worked at Fox over the years. There were people at Fox who were pinging me during the Trump presidency saying, way to go, Jim, keep going, and so on. I know there are folks there who want to do the right thing, but to some extent, they've decided to become something like the tobacco industry, where they've decided, okay, we know we make a product that harms people, but we're just going to have to double down and do it because it's just making a shit ton of money. And I think that I do think that my hope is deep down that there are folks there over time who will come to their senses and realize that they're doing great damage to this country. And to have people like Tucker Carlson on, there was this clip the other night where he was trying to say that, white supremacy, he said something about white supremacy being the worst thing that's happened in America or something like that, but he almost said the best thing or something like that. I mean, he has these moments where he just sounds like a race-baiting tyrant, and it's like, what is he doing? What is that? It's ginning up anger and rage and frustration in a certain segment of the American public, and I do think it does just a great deal of harm to this country.
That's it, everyone. Some pretty incredible comments from Jim Acosta as he torched Fox News and exposed Tucker Carlson as a race-baiting tyrant. In other words, he's saying Fox, over a period of time, became more and more radical and more Trumpian. They are trying intentionally to create tribalism, to create anger, to create agitation, rage, and resentment because it's good for their ratings. He said they are like the tobacco industry. We make a product that harms people, but we'll continue to do it because we are making so much money despite people at Fox News wanting to do the right thing. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. Please click the like button because it goes a long way in supporting our channel. You're accustomed to high quality videos, outstanding production qualities. It's not just a guy staring into a camera and spewing off the news. It's much, much more than that. Our channel is much, much more than that. I want you to know that I am asking for you to click the like button, to click subscribe, to enable notifications. We appreciate you. We're looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.